welcome to another battle report. It's 1850 points. Blood Angels take on the Dark Eldar. So Dark Eldar playing their second game. And if you watch the first, then things can only get better. But we're on a Purge compound. We're still on this planet. It's destabilizing. Imperial forces have made some kind of outer defense. There's a compound. There's tank defenses there, ammunition dump, and then a larger ammo dump here surrounded by a perimeter fence. Entrance just there. It'll be over this area the Blood Angels will come screaming on, and the Dark Eldar will come screaming on as well, hunting and pillaging on this planet, stripping it of resources whilst they're still able to before this planet explodes. You can see from the last game that now volcanoes have started to erupt. The planet's in its final stages. The Blood Angels have been sent in, and the Dark Eldar here for what they can pillage and pick up. So we're going to see how these two forces do against each other. Never played these two before, Blood Angels and Dark Eldar. Right, welcome to our 1850 points. It's Dark Eldar against Blood Angels, and here is the Dark Eldar force. It hasn't changed since their first game. We're going to practice and try and improve on the result from last time. So its army commander is Dark Eldar Archon. He's got an agonizer and a shadow field, gives him a 2+ invuln, and then 6 incubi to protect him. Then inside of Venom is a second Archon and 4 incubi, and they are protecting the Archon there. And he's got an agonizer, shadow field, and a webway portal. 2 units of witches. Didn't do too bad on the last game. All of these units here have done pretty well. Hellions, 10 of them, and then there is upgraded leader there with agonizer and phantasm grenade launcher. 9 reavers. See if we can get a better performance from these guys this time. 3 heat lancers in there, an arena champion. 8 Dark Eldar warriors inside a raider. No upgrades. Just upgraded to a leader there, so that's giving them LD9. A Ravager as heavy support. 5 Scourgers with a Haywire blaster, blast pistol power weapon for the Solarite, and also a Heat Lance. And then finally the Razor Wing jet fighter. So there's the Dark Eldar force. Looks nice, but has struggled so far. But we'll see how they perform in this game. Again, they're going to have their wits about them to take on a new opponent and adapt to the style of the Blood Angels, which is a tried and tested army. So it's a tough one for the Dark Eldar in this game, and probably least suited to dealing with this type of force. But in games of Warhammer 40,000, you just never know. Right, it's the Blood Angels force. We've got a heavy support here. A Predator Annihilator, Troops Choice in the Razorbacks, 5 Assault Marines without jump packs, just taking the dedicated transport instead, and power weapon there for the Sergeant. Then in Storm Raven number 1 is the Death Company, 7 Death Companies, 2 power weapons in there and a Thunderhammer, and they're in with that unit is the Reclusiarch, no upgrades, that's the Army Commander, and then also being carried is a Death Company Dreadnought. And then just separate here, just on its own, because it can't fly in from reserve, just with the number just with the restrictions on reserves. This one will be starting on foot, but it is a Furioso Dreadnought with frag cannon. Then inside the second Storm Raven, each of which, by the way, has got multi-melter, twin-link multi-melter, twin-link las cannon. And then there are 5 Terminators with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. And then finally a Land Raider taken as dedicated transport with 5 Assault Marines inside with Sergeant and power weapon. So that's the force. It's a menacing force, deadly in close combat, nasty firepower. So it'll be a very interesting clash to see which of these two forces will prevail. I have doubts about the Dark Eldar, but we'll see what happens. We'll move on now to deployment and the scenario for this 1850 points game. Right, the scenario is Purge the Alien, and the deployment zone is Vanguard Strike. So there's a central line of dice running up the table there. The Dark Eldar will be in this corner where the volcano is, deploying from there, and this is the zone that they have. Some cover. They should be able to easily fly over the fences, no problem. And then to the right hand side is where the Blood Angels will be deploying, just here. And then reserves for them will be coming in from that table edge, and then for the Dark Eldar, reserves coming in from this table edge here. But it's kill points. 1 point for every vehicle unit or unit destroyed. Right, deployment then for the Dark Eldar. Venom just on the left hand side, and then the Raider on the left, Ravager on the right. It is night fighting. Dark Eldar will ignore that, but that might impact the Blood Angels on the first turn. Reaver's just at the back, and I've got to keep these guys alive this time. Then coming around for the Blood Angels, it's just deployed at the back here with the Annihilator and the Land Raider just looking down the table. That's where they're headed. Both sides, it's going to be interesting. Are we going to be aggressive or cautious? Both sides with combat power. And I'd imagine both forces are going to want to concentrate their power before they're going for the kill. So this could be a quick and nasty game with all the forces piling in and pretty much annihilating each other. Or they might hold back, we'll have to see. But that is it. Dark Eldar have rolled. They haven't taken the initiative, so it's Blood Angels turn 1 coming up. Reserves. The Razorwing jet fighters coming on from reserve. These Scourges deep striking. Those guys are in the transport. The Hellions are coming on from reserve. The 2 units of Witches. Those guys are in the Venom. And then the Army Commander with the Incubi are coming on from reserve. And then for the Blood Angels, this Storm Raven is coming on from reserve. The Death Company and the second Storm Raven will be flying on as well. Right, Blood Angel turn 1, no movement and popping smoke, so major precautionary movement here from the Blood Angels, and there'll be no shooting, so that I think is probably the simplest turn 1 we've ever seen in our 40k games. But that marks the end of turn 1 for the Blood Angels, so Dark Eldar coming up next. Right, Dark Eldar turn 1. It's been a shift in plan. Reavers are behind here, and we're on the move, heading up the table in this direction. Try and keep these guys alive. Then coming across, we've abandoned this position and shifting around to our left hand side, and then the Venoms move forwards. The Archon and the Incubi have got out from their transport vehicle. They're just at the entrance to the Crypt Tomb. So we're going to move on to Dark Eldar shooting on turn 1. Right, Dark Eldar shooting on turn 1. Just shifted these guys up, 36 inches turbo boost. Just changing our position on the table. And then the webway portal has been opened by the Archon, and these guys are just shifted round a couple of inches as well. So it's a shift to the left. It's going to be interesting now to see how many of those Storm Ravens turn up on turn 2. There's no shooting, no combats. That's the end of turn 1. So we're on to Blood Angels turn 2 coming up. It's turn 2. Both Storm Ravens have arrived from reserve, and we're just saying really for the Blood Angels, what they decide to do with these 2 flyers will probably determine the game. The defensive force is in the corner, and then the assault force has arrived. There's the webway portal. There's the Dark Eldar. Half of the force at least. Reserves are going to be key in this game. What will they decide to do? it's a case of, oh dear, here we go. The Blood Angels are piling in. They sense the weakness of the Dark Eldar and are screaming in. If we can beat these guys, then that will show some class to the Dark Eldar, but I doubt it very much. In they come. Can we survive this? Night fighting is over. And the Blood Angels come flying in. Let's hope we can get that razor wing on and ambush one of these flyers. So let's move on to shooting now for the Blood Angels. It's just a shift now in reaction. They're bringing out their las cannon fire down this corridor, and then plus this firepower here. We've got to try and survive this. We've got a feeling that it's going to hurt. Right, here's a case of here we go again. The Blood Angels firepower is hitting home here. The Venom has gone, and the Raider has gone. Raider was destroyed from firepower from the las cannons just up in the corner there. It's good fire support coming in. The Blood Angels often do that. It's been effective. 4 warriors killed as they got out from that explosion, and then the Venom has been destroyed as well by this flyer. Not good. The Dark Eldar must reply to this, otherwise there's going to be a lot of trouble. So that's the end of shooting. There's no combats, no charges. So that is Blood Angels turn 2 over. It's now going to move on to Dark Eldar turn 2. What will come out of the webway portal? Right, Dark Eldar turn 2. They've come pouring out of the webway portal once again. Scourges of deep striked, scattered 2 inches across, landed just there, which is fine. We'll see if we can do any damage against that predator. And then coming down, the unit of witches has come out of there, moving up towards the Blood Angel corner. And the Hellions just sitting back, just holding back to see what happens. Reavers moving across, just staying out of trouble. This one's had to sit still, it's immobilised. And then now the Incubi and Archons have joined forces. They're in a big cluster just down there waiting the inevitable strike from the Death Company. And then the flyer has turned up. Everything's turned up apart from one unit of witches, and it's here. Razor Wing jet fighters come screaming on, perhaps in the nick of time. It's going to try and bring down the Blood Angels flyer. It would be a beautiful situation if that was brought down and delivered up the Death Company for us to then charge with the Incubi and Archons. We'll see. Move on now to Dark Eldar shooting on turn 2. Right, Dark Eldar shooting on turn 2. The Razor Wing has made its mark. Firing across, he got 2 hits, a glance and a penetrating. He jinked the glancing hit, but the penetrating hit went through. We rolled a 5, made it a 6, and crash and burn. The Storm Raven's been brought down. Then to add to that, the Death Company have been wiped out. Death Company are gone. Death Company Dreadnought lives, and the Reclusiarch lives. He made an invuln save, so they are just behind at the back here. But a deadly blow to the Blood Angels force, and it doesn't stop there. The Scourge is landing down, got a penetrating hit with the blast pistol, and blew up the Predator. So multiple kills has turned from the Dark Eldar. Some units now performing a lot better. Just a few run moves, the Witches moving up a couple of inches, Hellions as well, and then these guys, one unit falling back and the others moving off into the difficult terrain. And trying to keep the Reavers alive, we have turbo boosted them over this side of the table. I'm going to try and use them later on in the game. So, Blood Angel's turn to come. Has made it personal again, as he usually does. He's turned the fly around and he's flying it straight at the Razor Wing. He desperately wants to take it out in revenge. His blood is up, typical Blood Angels player, and he is after that flyer. Only 145 points. Is annoyed because it's wiped out 400 points worth of stuff, or 500 points worth. So just a little bit of movement. The Directional shuffled forwards. Is going to try and destroy the Scourges there, and just across the back you can see that the Razorback shifted round. Reclusiarch's doing a runner on the way back, and the Directional has moved up onto that mound, chasing the Incubi through the rubble. So let's see how he does. Let's see how he does. Go on then, James. Fire the flyer.
Oh, fly, yeah.
What's this going to fire at?
It's going to fire everything at that.
Right, 2 missiles and Las Cannon multi-melter at the flyer. This is personal. Missiles. 1 hit with a missile, and then roll for your armor penetration.
Step 8.
That's penetrated. So you got 1 penetrating hit with a missile. Las Cannon.
Trending Las Cannon.
Hits. Penetrates. Ouch. Right, we're going to be jinking this. No. It's not within 12. 11. It's penetrated. 3 penetrations. We're going to have to try and evade. This could be the end of the...
2 AP1s. Go.
This could be the end of the Razor Wing. 2 5s, and the final insult. If we get a 5 or a 6, James is going to walk out of the building. 5. James. Oh no. You have to feel for him. That's horrendous. That is the lucky Razor Wing. The Razor Wing lives, and it does it in style. The Eldar have been knocked down, but they've got back up again. That is for sure. Horrendous. That is an angry Imperial player. The Blood Angels are angry. Right, shooting for the Blood Angels on turn 2. It's gone well, and then it's gone bad in some respects. The Scourges have gone. Were killed by the Dreadnought, firing the frag cannon, and the Land Raider as well. And coming through, there's no damage around here, but here was the story of the day. Firing through, the Razor Wing has survived 3 penetrating hits, making a 555 save against James's Storm Raven. And then Heavy Bolter, Twin Link Heavy Bolter fire has damaged the Reaver jet bikes, taking 2 casualties there. So pretty good shooting from the Blood Angels, but a frustrating turn of firepower. And if this jet fighter does any more damage to Blood Angels, James is going to blow his top. So we're going to move on now to Assault. It looks like there is one. Right, so the Blood Angels Death Company Dreadnought has charged in to the smaller unit with the second in command, and there's going to be a melee there. Right, bit of boldness with the Dark Eldar here. The Archon took the hits from... Can't do any damage in return, but the Archon has taken the hits from the Dreadnought and passed 3 2+ invuln saves. It's a draw melee and it continues. We'll see if we can rescue the Archon, perhaps send in a unit of witches to help out. For the Dark Eldar on turn 3. Our second unit of witches has arrived and just moving to the left hand side. The others are moving off into the rubble. Squad of Incubi with the army commanders just shifting through the rubble there, just trying to make its way on towards the Blood Angel corner. And the Hellions are on their way over there as well. This crash and burn over here has opened the way up for the Dark Eldar to start shifting around and assault that Blood Angel position. Just sitting here, staying out of trouble with these units. Locked in combat down here with the second in command, Archon, and then coming around, the flyer has gone past James's Storm Raven and is in position here to strike either this Razorback or the Land Raider. And then the Reavers have swung around to this right hand side, just waiting for an opportunity to move in on the Blood Angel position as well. It's a pretty good game from the Dark Eldar. Let's see if they can continue doing well and push on for victory here, or will the Blood Angels make a comeback? We'll see. Shooting for the Dark Eldar on turn 3. The witches have shifted up an inch, and the Incubi have moved in a few more inches further into the terrain. Hellions have moved up some inches as well, just closing the ground, just being wary of the Dreadnought and what can come out of the Land Raider. And then again, pretty good shooting from the Razor Wing. It's firing through and has caused one hull point and weapon destroyed. A las cannon's been taken out on the Land Raider there. And then finally the Reavers just getting themselves into position, keeping alive and waiting for their opportunity to swoop in. So we're going to move on to assaults now for the Dark Eldar on turn 3. The witches have rolled a 9 in total after taking away the best dice. They've got a 9, so they've made it into combat with the Death Company Dreadnought. So that combat will go on. See if we can stick some haywire grenades and take that one out. So that's the only combat. We'll see what happens there. Right, it's the end of the Death Company Dreadnought. Witches went in and destroyed it with grenades. That's a good turn up. It's the second time. They've done pretty well. It's a good upgrade to have on the Witches. Enables them to take on any vehicles. So, Death Company Dreadnought's gone. That marks the end of Dark Eldar turn 3. How will they reply as the Dark Eldar continue with the good run? This flyer is just after kill points. He's going to try and take out the immobilised Ravager. It's a pretty good move just to clock up the points. Not too much that we can do to prevent that. And come around the other side, the Land Raider's backed off, the Razorback has backed off, and the Dreadnought is just holding position where he is. The Blood Angels are pulled away now from their advance, and is sort of on the, well, they are definitely on the back foot now, on the defensive, as the Dark Eldar look to close in. Right, Blood Angel shooting. It's a success. He's looking for the point and he's got it. So that's the end of the Ravager. Firing down, blew it sky high. It's a bit of a sitting duck. And then he tried to fire everything up at the flyer. Absolutely determined to try and destroy it. With the twin-linked las cannons and heavy bolters. And got a glance. We decided just to take it. Not going to try and evade the shot. So there's some damage done on the flyer there. That's it. There's no combats. Dark Eldar turn 4 coming up. Right, Dark Eldar turn 4. Witches are pushed up from this position, heading this way, sort of closing in on the Blood Angel position in the corner. There's no escape for them. Incubi are closing in as well with the army commander. These ones are moving across through the rubble as well, along with the other unit of witches. And then coming down, the warriors, the last 4 warriors doing a run, trying to stay alive to get away from the flyer, as he'll try and perhaps deploy the Terminators to wipe them out. Then coming around the other side, the Razor Wing jet fighter in a position to fire down at the Land Raider. The Hellions moving in just to pick off James's army commander, and then the Reavers in position as well. A real sense of this Dark Eldar force closing in and taking the opportunity to destroy this Blood Angels force. Right, the Reavers have just flown over the top of the Warlord. They've taken their opportunity and have caused 7 wounds, and James has fouled 3 saves. The Reavers have killed the Warlord. They waited and waited and waited, and they've struck and have brought the Warlord down. So it's good manoeuvring from the Reavers there, and the unit's out of trouble, so I could still keep them alive. And I've buried them in amongst the rest of the Dark Eldar force. So things looking a bit thin on the ground for the Blood Angels. Still knocking up points, but surely the game is in the favour of the Dark Eldar at the moment. Razorwing fired down, no damage on the Land Raider. So we're going to move on to assaults now. There are no assaults, no charges, no combats. He's swung the fly around. He's still flying. Hasn't dropped off the Terminators. It looks like he doesn't intend to, but he needs to drop them at some point just to pick up some points. But he's swung around, and again, he's staying in fly mode. Looks like he just wants to take out the Razor Wing. He'll be over the moon if he's able to do it. And then just backing off with the vehicles. Not much else he can do. So we're going to move on to shooting now for the Blood Angel. Roll to see if you can take out the Razor Wing with the twin-linked laser cannon. Here it comes.
5 and a 1.
He's got a hit. Strength 9. He's bound to penetrate unless he rolls a 1.
5.
He's penetrated.
Fail.
We're going to have to evade it. So we're going to roll a 5 up. Save. A 2. It's gone through. This is James's chance to bring it down.
5.
5 in total.
Immobilised.
So we're on locked velocity for the flyer and the hull point. So it's almost gone. He's almost killed it. And then he's going to fire his other stuff now. The Storm Raven, twin-linked laser cannon, has caused another hull point and locked velocity on the Razor Wings. It's almost been taken out. It's been battered. It's done a good job, but it has been knocked about. And coming around, there's not really much else to report. He fired up at the Razor Wing, didn't do any damage. And that is it for Blood Angels. No assaults and no melees once again. So handing back over to the Dark Eldar now. Right, movement for the Dark Eldar on turn 5. The Warriors are just coming around in between the Witch units. They're going to try and form a protective circle around them, and then try and preserve those 4 Warriors. Just going to sneak them in. And then coming around the table, the second in command, Archon's just moving up with his Incubi, heading off towards the last of the Blood Angels here. And the Witch is moving in on the left-hand side, off towards the Dreadnought. Reavers closing in with their Heat Lancers, going to try and take that Dreadnought out. Stands in the way in defiance, trying to block the Dark Eldar as they come in. and then the Incubi moving in with the Army Commander, and the Hellions closing in on the Razorback. So Dark Eldar closing in for the kill. It's a scary sight for the Blood Angels. But one thing you'll notice, once the Dark Eldar vehicles are gone, once the Lances are taken out, the Ravager and the Raider, there's not much vehicle destroying power available. So there's a weakness, another reason to take that Void Raven bomber as air support. But we'll see how it goes now. We're going to do the shooting for the Dark Eldar on turn 5. And shooting for the Dark Eldar, the Reavers have done it. They've hit twice, penetrated the Dreadnought, and then blown it sky high. So that blockage is out of the road. And then the Witches have moved up a couple of inches. The Incubi have moved up a couple of inches, tightening the noose around the Blood Angels. So we're going to move on to assaults, see if the Hellions can break open the Razorback on Dark Eldar assaults on turn 5. So assaults for the Dark Eldar, the Hellions went in and got a whole load of hits and then got a 666. So if that's strength 4, that's 3 hull points on the Razorback, and have cracked it open, and the Assault Marines have got out. So it's only the Land Raider left for vehicles, and really tightening in the noose now. Dark Eldar closing in.